All right, we're live. Hi, Connie.
It is. Hi.
Can you take a moment to introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name's Connie Holen, and I am a graphic designer and web designer at pixelitydesign.com.
Awesome. So let's start with you kind of talking about what your business looked like before you started my mentoring program.
Yeah, so I would describe that as I was definitely just a generalist designer. I did basically any projects that came my way. I did general graphic design, I did branding, I did web design, I did brochures, print stuff, social media graphics, odds and ends, business cards, just one-offs, just
Hmm.
anything in the design realm that kind of came my way. So
And you,
definitely a generalist in that
okay.
case.
And you were kind of focused on Squarespace, right?
I was, yeah. That was the only focus I really had was the platform, and that was kind of the only messaging I really had before working
Mm.
with you was I decided that Squarespace was the website platform that I wanted to use. So I
Okay.
had a little bit of a message on that as far as easy to manage and stuff, but that wasn't enough to really differentiate me in the
Yeah.
market at all.
What kind of clients were you getting?
Um, boy, I couldn't even like narrow them down to an industry at all. I had some local
Okay.
clients, brick and mortar businesses. I had a lot of online business coaches. I had an educator. I had kind of several like what you would call like would-be entrepreneurs who didn't really know what their business was yet. They just kind of had an idea and wanted to brand a website to go on it. So it was really all over the place. A lot more online entrepreneurs than I ended up with now. But
Okay. What, so like how many clients would you work with, let's say every month on average?
yeah, I wish I could. I wish I could give you an average. Well, I guess you can average out, but that was part of the problem at that time. Is I would have 3 or 4 clients one month, and
Mhm.
then that would go for a couple months, and then I would have like nothing for like
Okay.
2 or 3 months. So it
Okay.
was definitely the peaks and valleys of clients coming in and out. But I mean, I guess on
Okay.
average, I'd have like 1 or 2 clients a month,
Okay.
but it wasn't an even, and that was part of really the big issue of why I needed to make
Okay.
some changes was because having not been able to say no to anything, and so my calendar was really really full for a while because I was afraid to say no because I knew that a few months later I would have really no leads. So
Right. Okay. And then what was your average project size or like how big was the project that you would do back then?
yeah, so if it was the main projects I was trying to get were between $2,000 and $3,000.
Okay.
I'll take on smaller ones, $400
Mhm.
ones here and there. But my branding and web design ones were between 2 and 3,000, and then I'd kind of fill in the gaps with smaller stuff.
Okay. So you sort of touched on why you wanted to change or wanted to try things differently. It sounds like it was kind of a feast famine pipeline issue.
Yeah, it was, and there were several reasons. That was a big part of it. The lifestyle wasn't something that was sustainable for
Hmm.
me because I'd be like all heads down for a couple months, and then I'd pop up, and I wouldn't have any leads, and then I'd start to like panic and like, oh, I guess I should do some marketing, and I didn't really know
Hmm.
what to do for marketing. But that was one reason. The other reason was I didn't looking back, I realize now, I didn't realize at the time, but that I was competing on price. I never
Ah,
set out to do that, but looking back, I was a commodity, and I could see some signs in clients I had back then. I had a client say, well, I do it myself, but I don't have the time. And I actually had a client ask if I would price match another designer and things like that. Now, looking back, I'm like, I wasn't seen as a trusted advisor. I wasn't seen as a consultant. I was just seen as somebody who could use the software. And
right.
that didn't really sit well with me. That wasn't really why I went into business. I wanted to, be respected, and I wanted to be more of a consultant role in the design that I was doing. So I knew something kind of had to change there, and I was heading down I need a positioning, I need something before I found you, but I hadn't gotten there. So.
Okay. Okay. So what kind of concerns did you have about my mentoring program before you started?
Um, Well, I'm not a technical firm. That was one thing. I think
Right.
your book the only book you had back then was positioning for technical firms. And as a creative, as a designer, I consider myself more of a creative than a
Yeah.
technical person. And then I'm not a firm. I'm a solo designer,
Right.
freelancer. So That took me to kind of getting into your content a little bit more to realize that it did apply to me. Definitely, most definitely did. And then I also was kind of hesitant. I was at that point in my business where I was past online courses, and I was past, I didn't need any coaches. I didn't have any problem with execution. I didn't need the accountability or the support even. I was looking for a consultant. I was looking for somebody to give me opinions on my ideas and to actually, offer me specific advice for my business. So that I had to kind of wade through to see if you were just like a coach, or if you were, a coach or a consultant, basically. And those terms are used so interchangeably for services that I wanted to make sure I knew kind of what kind of deal this was.
Yeah, you're right. And I just want to give you kudos. You're one of the people I've worked with who has, you're absolutely right, had zero problem with follow through, zero problem with prioritizing, working on your business. Really, really impressive. So how did the program help? What things were particularly helpful about it?
Well, the main thing was when I started it, like I said, I was already sold on the idea of finding a niche. I was thinking, okay, niche is an industry that I need to kind of specialize in, and I knew I needed to that. So I didn't have to overcome any of those obstacles of giving up the generalist lifestyle. But what I didn't realize was just choosing an industry wasn't enough, that you need to find the expensive problem in that industry. And that's something that you really helped me out through. And I actually entered the program, and one of the favorite clients that I worked with was a local salon and spa. And so I was thinking, well, I'll do hair salons, and that's going to be my niche. And going through the program, you forcing me to interview people and talk to people and really look at the realities of that industry and test out my theories on it and just my one experience in it, really helped me. And I came out the other end with not entirely different, but a different niche than I thought I was going to have, and a lot more insight onto what the problem was that I was going to solve and how I was going to solve it. So I probably wouldn't be where I am now with a positioning statement or a position in the industry that I feel strongly with if I had just gone back with what my own gut was telling me I needed to niche down. I wouldn't have done it in the way that I ended up doing it, and I don't think I would have been as successful. I think I'd still be reevaluating that niche right now if I had just gone it on my own. Yeah,
right. So what does your business look like today?
It's actually really good. Like we were saying before the call, I'm booked out. It's late April right now. I'm booked out through July, till July right now. And I'm finding, it just kind of hit me last week. Like I am saying no to some pretty good projects, some that are in my industry, that would be great projects that I can definitely do. And I'm saying no to them because they're not ideal right now. And I have to say no to make room for the current projects I have, or to save some room for those perfect projects that are coming. So I feel like I'm definitely in the driver's seat now of being able to say no to projects. And my schedule has been comfortably full since January when I kind of relaunched my position. So the ebb and flow of client leads has definitely, mellowed out, and I have more than I can take right now. So that's just a huge difference from where I was before I started working with you.
Right. So what kind of client, what position did you end up coming up with? I know, but listeners to this don't know.
So right now it is websites for fitness, yoga, and wellness studios. Okay. And most of my clients end up in the yoga industry. They're yoga studios for the most part, just from some relationships I've made and some momentum I have in that industry. I've kept it kind of a little looser. My headline website positioning statement is a little looser right now because I kind of want the ability, the software and all the integrations that I've kind of come up with as I've done the research on, those apply to a number of different businesses that are kind of under that umbrella. So now I'm kind of keeping it a little bit open. I might niche further, but I don't totally see the need to right now because the language I'm able to use and the services I'm able to offer can apply to a physical therapy office or a day spa as well as a yoga studio. It's the same problems that they have, more or less.
Okay. So has the price you charged gone up along with having higher demand for your services? Has anything changed there?
Actually, I'm charging about the same for a project. However, the amount of time I'm spending to do that same project is about cut in half. So I used, about a year ago when I was kind of in the generalist, a design or a branding and website project would be about 4 to 6 weeks. and depending on the client. And a lot of that was that I was researching unique solutions to that person's industry because I wasn't repeating industries. They're all different people in different industries. And so now that I've narrowed down and I can on the consult calls, or even whether I get on the phone with someone, I know more or less what their business is about, and I know the general challenges they're going to have. And that carries over into the actual process of working with them. Is I don't have to take those extra weeks, extra time to like test out new softwares, and I'm able to keep up all the time with that certain industry software. And anything new comes out, I look into it right when it comes out. I don't have to wait for a client, and that's not extending that client project like it was before. So I think my system is a lot more streamlined. And then also my clients are coming to me with, with the expectation that I know their industry already. So there's a lot less, the discovery phase is a lot smaller, and they trust me a lot more because I have case studies that apply directly to what they're doing, where I can say, well, this is what we did for so-and-so, do you like this? Or this is what I did for so-and-so, do you like this? And it's all that background, all that discovery and research is already done. So I'm not charging significantly more right now. I might if my demand continues to go up, but or stay the same. But the amount of time I'm spending per project is probably cut in half. So essentially, I suppose that's doubling my rate because I can have twice as many clients within that same period of time in my hours.
That's great. I'm trying to remember let's see. So you were in the mentoring program for what, 2 or 3 months for the positioning part, 2 months?
Mm-hmm.
And then you came back for another month to work on content marketing. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I did lots of positioning, and then I felt like I really had a good statement and a good industry, and so I needed to just kind of go away and implement it. And so I rebranded and I launched my website and started working within that industry, and then getting to know a little bit more about really what that positioning, trying it on for size, I guess. And then I came back for a month and working on the content marketing side.
Okay. So you've been inside the hallowed walls of my little mentoring program. What kind of businesses do you think this program is the right fit for, and what kind are probably not the right fit, in your opinion?
I'd say everyone who's in there is very eager to change their positioning, to narrow down. So everyone that's in there has the right mindset. I think it really comes down to, I can't speak for like firms, because I'm just a solo freelancer myself, but I can say if you are open to change, if you're, if you're a generalist and you've got people coming to you and you have a reputation and it's working for you, great. But if what's going on for you isn't, if you know you need to change, or you're struggling with getting consistent leads and that sort of thing, then it absolutely is. That being said, like, you've got to be open to making some tough decisions. You've got to be open to saying no to some things and leaving some parts of what you used to do in your business behind to really make this program work for you.
Can I
I was
interrupt you?
comfortable with that from the start. I've talked to a bunch of other designers where, I'm like, they've had the same problems that they were having the same problems that I had. And I'm like, oh, you really just, if you niche into a positioning and they just can't do it. Like, they're like, I can imagine not doing all of these things. So you have to be in that right mindset. I think it's a mindset thing to get the most out of it.
I know this is an individual question. Not everybody would have the same answer, but do you miss the things that you don't do anymore? Do you miss those things?
No. For me, I felt really scattered back then, and I was learning a little bit about a lot of different things. And for me, my design career it's a second career for me. So I felt already behind the learning curve from people who maybe went to school and have been working in the industry for 10 years or whatever. So I was kind of at that stunned state of, I need to be everything for everybody and I need to learn everything so I can do everything for everybody. And I felt like I was spread really thin and I couldn't get really deep into any one area. So for me, I feel so much more comfortable having an expertise in a narrow area. And I don't, my clients honestly my client relationships have gotten better, that I don't miss the getting to know a bunch of different industries. I mean, there was something kind of cool about that, but I can go deeper into each individual business now because I know the basics of their business already. So we can talk about, the city that their business is in and what the culture of that is like and how to, work that into their branding and stuff instead of just the surface level stuff. So no, I don't miss being a generalist at all. And
Yeah. So geographically speaking, where are the big three hotspots for your industry?
The coast would be the two big ones.
Okay.
I mean, California, I tend to get more clients from California, and then the northeast.
Okay. And where do you live?
I live in Nebraska.
Okay.
Right in the middle of it
not
all.
those places.
So not Nebraska, no.
Yeah. And I know that was that question was a little bit of a setup, but I just want to make sure people listening know that geography is not a huge factor in making this work.
No, and that was one of the reasons why I wanted to kind of niche position wise is, I kind of tapped out a lot of the local businesses. I remember from Nebraska, it's a good sized town, it's a college town, but there's not a whole lot, this isn't Portland, or not a whole lot of, startup businesses and that sort of thing. So yeah, hardly any of it's been last summer since my last local business. So none of my businesses right now are from anywhere in my region, really.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So Connie, how can people check out your business online?
Yeah, I'm at pixalitydesign.com. That's my website, and that's the easiest way to find me and see what I'm doing.
Awesome. Okay. Well, this is a little quick case study for the positioningmentoringprogram.com. If this sounds interesting to you, you can go to that website, positioningmentoringprogram.com, sign up for the waiting list. There's always a waiting list, unfortunately, if you need this now. But I do send out an email usually every month or two with invitations if you're on the waiting list to join. And in the meantime, you can sign up and hit reply to any email from me if you have questions. Connie, thank you. Really appreciate you taking the time to tell folks how this has been for you.
No problem. I'm happy to do it. It's been one of the best decisions I've made in my business. So it's easy. It's a no-brainer to come on the call and talk to people about it.
Thank you.